Hey, it's your girl, your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. I'm just going to go ahead and tap right on into it. Shout out to ABC channel, I think it's channel 8 here in Dallas, going out there and catching the live coverage for his appearance for the bond hearing. So we're going to tap right on into that right now. And I was going to go live while it was playing, but I was like, I'm just going to wait till they finish and then just go back and just start it from the beginning. So, uh, thank y'all for tuning in. Let's tap right on into his bail hearing. And also, they did end up reducing his bail to $750,000. So it was set at 2 million and it was reduced down to $750,000. But let's, hear the judge's reason. Now this is a different, I think this is an associate judge. This is not Shakia, Shika, I keep calling her Shakia. The Honorable Judge Shika. This is another judge, an associate judge that was able to hear this case. So we're going to tap right on into it.
To the individuals present and involved in this conversation. The state's witness will also testify to Marquise Conway, the defendant, being present and involved in this conversation. The state's witness will testify to the amount of money that was to be paid for the murder. A state's witness will testify to the individuals responsible for the payment. That state's witness will also testify that Marquise Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment. A state's witness will also testify to the individual who would receive this payment. The state's witness will testify that Keywan White, in fact, the individual to receive this payment, who was originally indicted in State's Exhibit number 1, the probable cause, which is before this court. The state's witness would also testify that Keywan White, who shot and killed Melvin Noble. This witness would also testify to Keywan White being the individual who shot and killed Mr. Noble on November 11th of 2020. Again, this conversation took place in the days following Mr. Noble's murder. The state has also had an opportunity to review bank records of the defendant, Marquise Conway. These records would show that the defendant drew $40,000 in the days following the murder of Melvin Noble. And for the record, that was a cash withdrawal. These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to. In reviewing these records, the state also became aware and believed that they would show that the defendant had anywhere between $800 and $900, but more specifically $870,000 between a checking account and a savings account with one particular bank. 370 of which was in a checking account, over 500,000 which was in a savings account. The state at this time would like to publish to the court what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3, which is the video of the offense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, before that's published, could I just address something with the prosecutor and their proffer?
Sure.
So it's clear for the record that as he recited, the state's witness, his proffer is, that's just one witness.
Correct, Your Honor.
Multiple witnesses. And that I don't recall if the specific in the proffer was when the date that this witness purported to hear this conversation.
I do not have the specific date written down, but I know it was in the days following the offense. We do have evidence of when this could have taken place based off of cell phone data of when the defendant was in another state and then we came back to Texas. So we believe we have a time frame as far as the
Anything else, Mr. Hill?
No, Your Honor. Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Yes. You don't want the lights off?
It's at the court's discretion.
Oh.
And Your Honor, this is, just for context, this is approximately noon on I-35 heading northbound. This video is taken from a Kroger 18-wheeler, and this is heading north I-35 into downtown Dallas on noon on November 11th, 2020. Now, Your Honor, if I could draw the court's attention, if you look on I've stopped this video at 19 seconds. You see a gold sedan in the far left lane and a black sedan in the second lane to the left. The gold sedan will be the vehicle carrying the victim, and the black sedan is the vehicle driven by Q1 White, who is then the shooter, based off of the evidence we have.
Okay.
That's crazy, man. That's effing crazy.
Your Honor, I'm going to stop this at 1 minute and 37 seconds. The victim does not return into the frame. The only other things that the state would like to proffer as far as this bond hearing, since the court does not have a probable cause affidavit, of course, since it's a grand jury referral, defendant Q1 White was also indicted. You do have his murder probable cause affidavit from 2020. He was also indicted at that same time in cause number F2175377 for Dr. Randall Graham, who also sustained injuries, a neurosurgeon who was heading north on I-35 that day and was struck as well. However, he did survive. And finally, Your Honor, the last thing that I would proffer at this time would be that there were a total of 44 fired cartridge casings, all from the same style of firearm as far as the caliber, that were recovered on the freeway on November 11, 2020. And at this time, Your Honor, state of rest.
So Kiwan has, that's why I was looking at his case, he has an attempted unaliving charge too for the innocent bystander.
Now raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that in all matters before the court, you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You may be seated.
Ms. Alexander, could you introduce yourself to the court and spell your last name for the court reporter?
Yes, my name is Alma Jean Alexander, Alexander. I'm Marquis' grandmother.
Ms. Alexander, are you currently employed?
No, I retired from Dallas County in 2014.
Now, when you tell the judge you retired from Dallas County in 2014, what was your occupation?
Deputy clerk.
And just for the record, a deputy clerk, what does a deputy clerk do?
Process paperwork from the attorneys for the judge. Basically handle the paperwork for the courts.
And this is a building that you were employed, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And back in the clerk's room, where in the old days we had a lot of paperwork, lawyers would take the file, take it back to the clerk. You would handle the file stamps and put all the papers into the file
And type up the judgments.
Type up the judgments. Can we back up a little bit? Just tell the judge a little bit about where were you born and when did you move to Dallas County?
I was born in Washington, Arkansas. I moved to Dallas County when I was 11, so I've been here like 63 years.
And being Marquis' grandmother, could you explain the dynamics of your family as far as where are they located and how many grandchildren do you have and where does Marquis fall in the family relationship?
Okay, Marquis was my first grandson, first grandchild. I have 11 grandchildren and 8 great-grands. Of course, Marquis being the first grandchild, we were always close because you're excited with your first grandchild, so you try to do everything you can and instill in them good values. He's been a godsend to a lot of his family members. He helps everybody in the family. I know it's hard sometimes because when you have people pulling on you and you just trying to stretch money, you know, it doesn't always pan out. But he's always helped whenever needed. He's just been...
Let me interrupt you just a minute. When you say, let's just go back a little bit. Did he go to public schools here in Dallas County?
Yes, he did.
Was he born and raised here in Dallas County?
Yes, he was.
And does he currently work here in Dallas County?
Yes, he's an entertainer.
Okay, and as an entertainer, so we can explain to the court what type of entertainment does he do?
Music.
And has he done well in his music career?
Yes.
And in the music career, you have a persona, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a persona out there for your career is different with the family fold, is that right?
Right.
Him being your grandson, did he go to church here in Dallas County?
Yes, he went to church with me often. That was one of my requirements when he'd spend the weekend.
And how often do you talk and have a relationship with Marquis?
When he's in town, 2 or 3 times a week. When he's out of town, sometime once a week.
His relatives, are they here in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And is his mother back there in the courtroom?
Yes, she is.
Okay, and for the record, could you just tell is that Miss Kimberly Rush?
Right.
Is his family here, are they all here in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex?
Vicinity, yes.
Are you here to just tell the judge he has sufficient ties to this community?
Yes, he does. He does.
Now, as far as, does he have any children?
Yes, he has 2 sons,
And how old are his children?
5 and 7.
Is he, have you observed him being involved in his children's life?
Yeah, we go to football games for the little ones all the time. He's always got them in sports.
Okay, so he's out there in the community coaching up his sons and other kids that play on
I call him the Joe Jackson of the sports.
You call, what's Joe Jackson being Marquis?
Yeah. Joe Jackson was Michael Jackson's father. You know how he pushed them to be great and good. So I said that's what he's trying to do with his boys.
I'm glad you cleared that up. There's other Joe Jacksons.
Not Joe Jackson.
Get that Joe Jackson would be well involved in his family.
Yeah.
So you're telling the judge he's from Dallas County, significant ties, and he's involved with his family.
As far as, you're aware that he is, been arrested for this charge
Yes.
of payment for hire for a murder. And this happened back in 2020. You're aware, you saw the video and you heard the prosecutor talk about
Yeah, on Facebook.
their version of the facts.
Right.
How long has he been in jail?
Oh, 8 days since last Thursday.
The bond set at $2 million. Has he been able to post that bond and get out of jail?
He's still sitting here. No, he hasn't.
We're asking the court for a $250,000 bond based on, do you believe that Mr. Conway could post a $250,000 bond?
I'm pretty sure we can get it together.
And are you telling this court that he's not able to post a $2 million bond?
No, he's not.
That's the witness.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr.
Hey,
Alexander.
Beyonce's lace
My name
front.
is Tommy Adams. If you have any questions with my questions, if I don't form them in a good way, please just ask me to repeat myself and I will do so, okay?
Okay.
I appreciate you being down here. I'm sure this is not an easy day for you. So, thank you. You worked for the Dallas County within the clerk's office up until 2014. Now, Ms. Alexander, are you aware that there was a bond schedule that judges could set bonds on different level offenses within this courthouse?
Yes.
And are you aware that that bond schedule has since been done away with and was subject to a federal lawsuit against all the district judges within Dallas County?
No.
Okay. Now, when you talk about your grandson being an entertainer, I mean, he's more than just an entertainer, correct?
Yes.
He's in fact a double platinum artist, correct?
Right.
Now, going back to 2020 and the years leading up to that, well, let me ask you this. Are you aware of your grandson owning a 2017 Denali?
Yes.
And what is that Denali, what is special about that Denali?
It's bulletproof.
It's bulletproof. Now, Ms. Alexander, I can't imagine in all your years working here at the clerk's office that you ever felt like you needed a bulletproof vehicle.
I don't need one.
Now, Ms. Alexander, would you agree with me that in 2020 and the years leading up to 2020, that there was a lot of stuff going on in the city of Dallas surrounding,
Particularly
to be quite
Oak
honest,
Cliff.
Melvin Noble and your
That's why I
grandson,
don't go to
Marquise
Oak
Conway.
Cliff.
I try not to delve into Facebook and hearsay because I know him for myself, so
Well, let me ask it this way: are you aware your grandson was shot in Plano?
yeah, I was there.
You weren't there at 3 a.m., were you?
I
And
was at
that's the good
hospital.
part.
Correct.
Like where I live, Richardson, Frisco, Plano, you don't
But
hear
you'd
about a
agree
lot
with
of
me
crime.
that even if you're not on Facebook, I mean, this stuff was on TMZ. I think your grandson even did a interview on TMZ with those folks on live TV about this. So you're aware that there was a back and forth going on in this city involving your grandson as well as Mr. Noble, the complainant in this capital murder case.
And I'm sorry, I had to pause it because I don't. If y'all not from Dallas, y'all don't understand the dynamics. Like Yellow Beezy, um, Marquise, who's Yellow Beezy, Melvin, who is Mo3, Trap Boy Freddy. They were friends. A lot of people don't know that. They were actually friends. Like my cousins used to hang out with, and obviously my cousins are younger, used to hang out with these individuals. So it's sad to see how beef just is created and people are rushing for the fame and for the stardom. Um, yeah, it's sad. Dallas is really divided because I've seen the comments. People are like, that's what Yellow Beezy gets. And don't get me wrong, I love Mo3. I love Melvin. Melvin is he was a talented artist. Um And justice needs to be served, and I'm glad that we're finally moving forward with this. But y'all have to understand that they were once friends. It's just like what started the beef and the feud between the two to where they feel that they needed to off each other. And if y'all listen to Mo 3 songs, like he said, he had to stay ready, he had to stay strapped, and he was gonna get them before they get him. So yeah, let's continue.
If you're aware of that, at least, right?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay. Is that the reason your grandson felt the need to get a bulletproof Denali?
No, he felt the need because people are jealous and you don't know who's gonna do what, when or where.
Now, are you aware of whether or not he had to, if a Denali comes that way off the lot, or do you have to actually pay money to get something like that done?
I have no idea how it happened, where it happened, why it happened. I just know he had it.
Sure. And as far as your grandson being in custody for approximately 8 days, defense asked you initially how long he'd been in jail and if he was able to make a $2 million bond. And your initial answer was, no, he hasn't. And then when they followed up with whether or not he could make a $2 million bond, that's when you said, no, he cannot, correct?
Right.
Now, especially with all of your experience here in the county and working in the clerk's office, you're aware that when somebody has a $2 million bond, they can pay only 10% of that, correct?
Yes.
With the bondsman's help. Now, your grandson is a double platinum recording artist, correct?
Correct.
And he lives in a mansion in Frisco, correct?
A badass
Correct.
house.
And he has houses in other states, correct?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware of him paying and helping to support individuals in the family, extended family and friends?
I'm not into his business like that.
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out. Plus, he has other bills. He don't just have money laying around.
Sure. Now, Ms. Alexander, if I wanted to reach out to Ms. Rush, your daughter, what would be the best phone number to reach her at?
She's not my daughter.
Okay. Mr. Conway's mother, if I was going to reach out to her, what would be the best phone number to reach out to her at?
You don't have that information?
If you were going to reach out to her, not me.
Why would she say that?
With the witness and relatives are here.
That's personal information.
We're kind of veering off to and getting into discovery. The state hadn't showed us their case. They made a proffer here. Seems like they can do their discovery outside the courtroom.
Objection overruled. You may proceed. Ma'am, you'll need to answer the question.
What was it?
If you were going to call Ms. Rush, what number would you call her at? If you need to check your phone, I'd be happy to wait.
Okay. Thank you.
I have never in my life heard the state ask for a phone number, and knowing that everything is recorded, like I don't get it. This is weird.
214
But all right.
554 5606
5-6.
06.
Judge.
And y'all,
Again,
please do
I'm
not
gonna
call that
check
number.
this, as far as being public information and getting out to the public, this is a media case. this is an improper question. I know the judge has overruled.
Thank
it on
you.
this, but there is a fear of this getting out.
Well, it's
And
out there now.
And that's the
I would
defense
ask the court
counsel.
to seal the number. The prosecutor had it.
The court's gonna.
Well, it's too late now
overrule
'cause we all
question.
streaming.
I do understand and appreciate the concern that it was publicly announced. So I'm going to ask, you're asking that it be sealed?
I'm asking that it be sealed from the public. This is and the court has heard it, considered it for this bond hearing, and that this not be published outside of the courtroom. The media sitting outside of the courtroom. And I think there's a legitimate fear base here, just like the state has.
I beg y'all, please do not call that number. Please do not call her number.
Grant that.
I don't even know why the judge even allowed that.
You can use it for your purposes only. It cannot be published to anyone else.
Okay, sure. And Your Honor, the reason I'm asking, I'm going to have another question too,
Go ahead.
is that in State's Exhibit number 6, which is the confidential affidavit of financial conditions, in which the defendant is asked to provide an emergency contact number, the only emergency contact person he lists is himself. And so, and the problem with that is that that number that he listed for him is, according to Ms. Alexander, the same number. So I'm just trying to clear some things up. We don't have anything on.
You could have did that in your office, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And look how dude looking right
My
here.
follow-up to
I'm
you
like
is
that
if you were gonna call
too.
your grandson 8 days ago, what number would you call him at? And if the defense wants this portion to be sealed, I'm fine with that too, but I think this is important information, Your Honor.
Well, could we have her write it down, perhaps?
That's fine.
Announcing it in court.
There now, Beyonce's lakefront. These people is crazy. What's up, Wonder Woman? Oh, what's up, Black Gold and Roxanne? I see y'all commenting as well. What's up, y'all? If y'all have not hit that like button, please take the time to just press the X, hit that like button, and come right back on into the chat. Y'all, I was going to go down there, but it makes no sense because one, they didn't start at 8.
Been there to
They
defense
they
for
started
6
around
years.
10 something, so.
Okay.
But shout out to ABC News.
7 is it?
Channel 8 in Dallas.
Now, Ms. Alexander, you testified that your grandson has significant ties to this community, correct?
Yes,
Born and raised in the greater Dallas area.
correct.
As far as how much time he spends in the city of Dallas, or more or less Dallas County and the surrounding areas at this point, do you know approximately how much time he spends in the greater Dallas area per month?
I'd say
3/4 of the time. Now, just as far as his ability to travel and nature of that, like planes and getting around, you're aware that he travels quite a bit via private jet, commercial, all of that, correct?
yes.
Does he have access to his own private jet?
No.
Do you know approximately how often he does fly private?
No, I don't.
But when he does that, he would be having to pay for those bills as well, correct?
Correct.
Do you agree with me that flying private is not the cheapest thing in the world to do?
Yes.
Nothing further from the state, Tom.
Anything else from Ms. Witness?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You can step down. You have another witness?
Judge, I was gonna make the proffer we discussed, back in Chambers.
Okay.
May I make a proffer, Your Honor?
Yes.
Judge, a lot of us have been down here at this courthouse for 30 years. I'm not gonna go over the law. I know you understand, the bail bond and how we have it in law. I just wanted to point out in some of these cases where there's high profile in the state versus Michael Lucky, that was a capital murder case. That was in criminal district court number 7, the court that we're in. That was a high profile case. That case involved an NBA player that was initially set by the magistrate in the jail with a probable cause affidavit, where they had knowledge of the facts from what the police said. And that bond was original. It was later reduced by the court to $100,000 with conditions. Co-defendant in that case, Larry Jenkins, cause number F2076397. This is the same set of facts case where the magistrate with a probable cause affidavit set it for $750,000. Another case in the state of Texas versus Antoine Franklin, capital murder case 522-76141. This involved a famous football player out of Oklahoma. That case was set by the magistrate for $500,000. Again, probable cause affidavit. He was later reduced by the court to $200,000. Judge, dealing with the bond schedule, you have bond conditions here that require electronic monitor. They have several conditions with probation, check-in, and curfews. We're proffering to the court here that the court has set bonds down here in Dallas County where the typical murders range between $150,000 and $200,000, and a capital murder can range, in these cases, in between $500,000 and $750,000, where the magistrate set them. The thing in this case that we're proffering, the magistrate had no probable cause affidavit. They had no facts, and in this case, we're asking the bond to be reduced in these facts. We'll argue here, but I just want to proffer those 3 cases.
All right, anything else?
We're closing and we'd just like to argue.
Okay, state.
Your Honor, I would just, if I could, just briefly, I would also like to proffer just 2 cases since defense has brought up some cases that have come here from Dallas County. The first one I would like to bring up is F2475475. Defendant's name is Chaz Booth out of the 194th Judicial District Court. He's currently sitting in jail on a capital murder charge for $2 million. That defendant is not a celebrity, a basketball player, a football player, a musician, an artist, or anything like that.
I'm sorry, what's the bond on that one?
$2 million.
Oh, $2 million.
He's a 20-year-old who is charged with capital murder. Additionally, we have Jordan Owens, who was recently sentenced F2377243, also a capital murder, and his bond was set at $1.5 million, and I believe that was in the 282nd Judicial District Court. And that's, as far as cases, I'm not going to keep going with. I'm not going to go back and forth, so that's all we have as far as rebuttal and trial.
Your arguments?
We'll waive and reserve the right for rebuttal.
All right.
Judge, I'll begin and then Mr. Kuzco can finish up with that. Your Honor, as you know, under 1715, the court considers certain facts in the bond reduction hearing and determining whether to reduce the bond. Here in this hearing, the court has before you been introduced 2 arrest affidavits. There is not the arrest affidavit of our client, that does not exist, but you do and have reviewed the arrest affidavits of Kewan White and Mr. Brown. Those arrest affidavits were taken on Kewan White was December 8, 2020. Devin Brown, March 18th of 20. The offense itself is approximately 4 years and 4 months ago when it occurred. You carefully review those affidavits and set out how the offense, and you saw the video. Nowhere in those affidavits is there any mention of our client, any mention of connection to this case in either one of those affidavits that you have before you that you can consider. As far as the state, they choose what they can proffer. They said they have one person who overheard a conversation after the highway in which he heard money being the client present at that during that conversation about paying money. You received no information in the proper as to the credibility of that witness, if they have a bias or a motive for this time, 4 years, 4 months later, with this information. You only have you don't even have a proper that this was a confidential informant, which you know requires some type of vetting. Just that he said they were present during this one conversation. And that's the only evidence that you have before you this hearing that connects them to this offense. The state also proffered a bank record that said there was after the incident in November of 2020, there was a withdrawal of $40,000 cash. No proffer was made as to if that money, if there was traced anywhere to the other defendants charged in this offense. You've received no information of any message on social media platform that our client paid for this murder.
I'm sorry to pause it right here, but this is so I'm having a conversation in the car with my 16-year-old. They love what I do, so they ask all kinds of questions. But one thing that he stated, because he was like, well, how would they know that he paid him to, do the unaliving? And I said, that's a very good question. I said, because if it was paid in cash, then there's no way to trace that unless they have some type of text message or phone call communicated over social media, something that's traceable and verifiable to say, okay, he was in charge. So that was my 16-year-old's biggest question. Well, how would they trace that back to Yella Beezy? And like I said, once again, if it's a cash transaction, how do you know it went from one hand to another hand unless there's some type of confirmation through text messages or a phone call or through social media messages?
Murder, any type of remuneration, no recorded person who came forward and said he overheard this conversation. As far as the bank records go, the only thing in evidence before the court are records that were back in 2020 when they quoted two different accounts which accounted for $800,000. You've heard no evidence as to his current financial bank records and what is in there. You only have before you testimony of the defendant's grandmother who told you he cannot make the bond, has not been able to make the bond, and cannot make the $2 million bonds. I'll let Mr. Beasley finish with the other parts of the argument.
I'm not going to go back over what Mr. Shook said. What the court has before you is a case that's been investigated for 5 years, and my client, Conway, is a citizen in this community that has no flight issues. He has not left this community. He stays in this community. His family is sitting right back here in the courtroom that showed up for the support in this community. A big factor of this is that he has significant ties to this community. The current bond conditions that you have in place with a leg monitor would be whatever concerns that the state may have or the court may have to know where he is. His grandmother has worked down here and understands how to communicate with the court. We have people, and the bond restrictions of that, the court is aware of how significant the bond restriction, keeping them and writing a bond. we're coming at this with, this is a significant oppressive and punitive bond and under the law, in our opinion. We believe that the magistrate, when she set this bond, did not have any evidence in front of her and set it high. We also believe that after 8 days, had he had the money, he would have posted it, and he's sitting here in jail. And that those cases that the state and I have talked about, the court is well aware of a wide range that you have, but given these facts that Mr. Shook went over with no corroboration, we don't know anything about their case, this witness, who they are, not we, the court doesn't. And given the facts presented, we're asking you to reduce this bond to an appropriate amount where he can abide by the conditions and come to court and we can fight this case.
Okay, thank you. State?
Yeah, sure. Just briefly. In regards to an individual's ability to pay the bond, Ms. Alexander testified specifically that she is not involved in her grandson's business and doesn't keep up with his financial stuff. So she really was not in a position to testify what he can and what he cannot afford. She did testify, I believe as of recently 2 weeks ago, recording artist, that he travels about a quarter of the month, that he lives in a mansion in Frisco, that he drives a Denali, a Bullet, which also will lead into safety concerns. So the only thing that the court has as far as ability to pay or not to do it, or not having an ability to pay this bond, is the bank records which I've proffered to the court, as well as his own grandmother saying that he's a successful artist living in a mansion up in Frisco, that flies on private jets and travels. The important thing about the Denali is not just the fact of the cost and all of that, but it's the fact that when we're talking about safety concerns for the community, and one of the factors that the court should take into consideration.
I'm sorry, y'all, but this is distracting. Y'all see this lady? I'm trying to figure out why is she covering up her mouth? I'm sorry, I just got distracted because I'm like, is she sick? Like, I don't know, but let's get back into it.
If this individual were to get out, is there a viable safety concern? The fact that the defendant has a bulletproof vehicle and drove one at the time and was arrested in it 8 days ago, that should tell you all you need to know. And that's not just based off of pure jealousy. Your Honor has been doing this long enough to know that is based off of something much greater than just pure jealousy. As far as safety circumstances for the community, this is, as defense has stated, a very high profile case. And this defendant is very well known, not only locally, not only in the state, but nationally and internationally. The fact that this individual has the means and the resources and the reach to get to witnesses is a true concern that the court should also take into consideration. And that this was part of a bigger thing that was going on in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, culminating in the death of Melvin Noble. The circumstance, the offense in itself, but the circumstances building up to Mr. Noble's death. And Your Honor, I didn't want to go back and forth with the defense on proffering cases of bonds and $2 million and $3 million bonds. But the truth is, this is a capital murder for remuneration. And the defendant is charged with paying other individuals to take another human life. And he has the financial means and the reach to do it. In fact, I think it's important that there was another victim. It was on I-35 leading into downtown Dallas. 44 fired cartridge casings. Who knows how many others were knocked away by the cars that kept driving by. Melvin Noble was hunted down on November 11th in 2020. A beloved son of Dallas. It could have been so much worse. A terrible thing to say when it's a capital murder for remuneration, where he has paid another man to hunt down. Your Honor, based off of all the testimony and the facts that have been presented in this court, we'd ask that you, where is that? Currently $2 million.
Let me have the exhibits, and then it'll give me about 10 minutes. defense did not have any exhibits, right?
Oh, Your Honor.
This is the video, right? That
Yeah.
was what he said.
You're still.
Yeah, I said.
Hopefully they don't. Let me see. Cause we ain't about to sit there. Let's see. All rise. I was not fooling with downtown today. I'll tell you that. Something's going on with the sound, Roxanne. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all hear me. A one in the chat if y'all hear me.
Okay, go ahead and get the defendant back out.
Yeah, that's true, Dina. Innocent until proven guilty. We gotta look at all the facts and everything. I mean, they have the person who unalived him, and now they have to prove that Yellow Beezy paid Kawan to do what he did. That's the challenge right now.
Okay, the court order ready? Yes, Judge. All right, the court's ready to make my ruling. The court is going to reduce the bond to $750,000. The court took into consideration, certainly, the biggest consideration was the offense, the severity of this particular offense. It's pretty egregious to watch that video. But the court also took into consideration the evidence or lack of evidence that the state presented. That was a factor also. Another.
Okay, so I stopped the video, so I'm trying to see if y'all hear the popping sound with the video. Okay, that's weird. Um, and y'all let me know. I'm gonna talk a little bit, and y'all let me know if y'all hear popping as I'm talking. But this comment says his attorneys should bring up the fact that Yella was shot or pow-powed in his car some years ago, and since he is a successful, well-known entertainer, it's a good idea to have a bulletproof vehicle per the pass. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is a bond hearing. They're just trying to ensure that, well, not ensure, they're just trying, okay, I don't know what's going on with that. But they're trying to get his bond reduced. So even though they they the reason why he needed a bulletproof vehicle, what the state is trying to say is that this dude has money. I mean, if y'all seen dude's house in Frisco. Oh, people are saying it was a few minutes ago. It's gone. I still hear popping. Lord Jesus, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep this video up. um, yeah, so this is a bond hearing. They're trying to reduce his bond, but what the state is trying to say is, look, this dude has money to fly on private jets. He has a bulletproof vehicle. He has a mansion in Frisco. Um, badass house. And I think he has a house in Lancaster because that's, I don't know if they, well, he had a Lancaster address, so I don't know whose address is mama house or whatever the case may be. But the state is trying to say, look, this dude got money, so leave the bill at $2 million. And I get it, but people don't realize that even though he has these things, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? We don't know if he's struggling with those mortgage payments in Frisco because, in all honesty, I have not seen Yellow Beezy do anything. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Now, when Chris Brown was out here last year, in the summertime doing the 1111 tour, Yellow Beezy was also performing there, and he caught himself up in a lawsuit when some individuals got hurt due to a brawl that broke out, and he was named in one of the lawsuits. But other than that, I have not seen Beezy do anything since Mo 3 had passed away. It's like him and Trap Boy Freddy, they fell off. I can sit there and contest because every time I'm like, we don't hear no new music from Yellow Beezy. Like when Christmas time before 2020, when I tell y'all that they say he's needed in the community, like before 2020, Yellow Beezy was in the community. He was doing toy drives. He was visiting. I don't know if he was visiting schools, but they would do a lot of stuff. I have not ever since this happened. I have not heard from Beezy nor Trap Boy Fred. It's like they slowly dissolved. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I heard a new song by Yellow Beezy, but then that's it. I don't hear it on the radio no more. And I listen to the radio. 97.9 The Beat. I do not hear it. I don't listen to 104.5, but don't what you call it. You said Frisco alone could cut. No, exactly. Exactly. But see, I don't know if his baby mama lives there. Yeah, I'm about to go drive. I need to get out this house, but I'm about to go drive. Yeah, she did. So she ended up reducing the bond. So let's tap back on into. We only got a few minutes and hear what she says.
That was a factor also. Um, Another concern I had was the financial statement that the defendant was to put on file. He didn't seem to take that very seriously at all. And that causes me concern about whether or not he's taking seriously the allegations against him. Um, so I am going to set the bond at $750,000 with the bond conditions that were already set. But included on that, I want it to be very clear, Mr. Conway, that you are to have no contact, direct, no threatening or harassment of any victim, witness, co-defendant. If it's you or anybody on your behalf, there's going to be a problem. Okay, you all can stand. I'm talking to you now. So that's going to be a concern. And then I want to make sure that you provide the court with correct information regarding your person of contact, because basically this affidavit seemed to be your way of saying forget y'all. I don't want you to open your mouth. Yeah. Seemed to be your way of saying forget y'all. So you need to provide correct, accurate information regarding who is your person of contact should there be any type of problem. I hope that you're taking this seriously because your responses in this affidavit kind of indicate that you're not. You understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything else?
No, you're going to say, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And that was that. So his bond was reduced from 2 million to $150,000. But as y'all heard his grandmother say, that's something. Now $250,000 would have been reasonable, and they could, come up with the money or the funds for that. But as far as $750,000, I do think that it is a little steep. Now, Wonder Woman did say, Frisco alone could cover that bond, but I need to do some research to see if hold up, Frisco, that's Collin County. Hold up, let me I'm about to put because we don't know why he's not putting up the house for collateral. That's the biggest thing because he spent a lot of money on that. But with that comes a bigger mortgage. So it could be a reason as to why he's not using the house. Hold on, let me look up Collin County right quick. Collin County, da da da. Because I want to see. I hope it's not in foreclosure because that would really suck. Let me swap. Hold up. What are y'all saying? Didn't they get insurance money from? I don't know. Are you talking about the victim's family? I have no clue. This boy is really a criminal. There we got people saying free breezy. Somebody said give this man several sanctions. He's blessed. So is it 10? No. So here is the thing. It is it's a cash or surety bond. So either he pays $750,000 or he pays the 10%. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm about to look at. I don't ooh hold up. I got I always got discovery when I get on here with y'all. Collin County official record search. Yeah, before I started doing personal injury and family law, I um I did probate law. So I handled foreclosures and all that. What's his name? Conway Marquise. Okay, well I don't see any liens. Hold up. Could that be? Hold on, let me look because I have to figure out what freaking county the house is in. The official. So he doesn't have a lien because there's nothing. Well, at least in Collin County, it doesn't show that he has a lien. Let me type it this way. Uh, yep. So that takes care of that. Um, and then Conway Marquise. Okay, so it is in Denton County. Wait a minute. Oh, he gave them power of attorney. Texas is so weird. You be in one county and across the street it's another county. Okay, so both. Oh, it's in both of their names. Hold up. I don't want to whatchamacallit to where I show the address. Hmm. I gotta look at this offline. Somebody got power of attorney. Well, she gave him power of attorney. Huh, that's interesting. I have to look at this online, but I don't see a lien. That was the biggest thing. I see a lien, so therefore there's no lien on it. So why not use use the house? Like I said, it's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful home. Oh yeah, it was probably the video, Wonder Woman. Yeah, so why he's still sitting there? We will never. Oh, I'm gonna leave this up because I want to be nosy. All right, so let's hop over to Dallas County inmate. La da da. And now people gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is how you look everything up." Yeah, I did. This is all I do, all day, every day. The life of a paralegal. I gotta get on this work too. What time is this? 11:26. Okay. So they haven't updated this yet, but he still has that $5,000 bond out of so even if he made bail for Dallas County, he gonna have to wait. Gonna have to wait for Denton County. Darn shame. Crap. Could they get I don't well, it said they purchased that house in 2019. I don't know if now I'm telling y'all now everything has increased in Frisco because they get in the Universal Studios out yonders. And my aunt was just talking about how everything has increased over there. That's why I was like, I'm gonna stay over here in Richardson. I'm 15 minutes from downtown. I like the Richardson area. I'm not moving. They can have that. I drove over there this past weekend to go see my aunt, and I hated it because the freaking traffic is ridiculous. Okay, so this is his bond settings. All right, so like I said, it's a surety or a cash bond. So either he pays the $750,000 or he can find a bail bondsman and he can do 10%. 10 to 15%. I don't know however much they're going to set it for. But he still has to follow the conditions of the court if and when he is released. So that means do not consume any alcohol, appear in all court scheduled settings, notify if you have any change of address, employment. He has to be placed on electronic monitoring. Now I'm gonna need y'all to come on and clerks, y'all got to get this right. Anyway, monitoring program, he has to pay for that. He has to be restricted to his house at the primary residence, so more than likely in Frisco. He cannot directly or indirectly communicate with the victim's family. That means he can't go through anybody to send a message or anything of that nature. He can't possess any weapons. He has to remain arrest free. He can't get into no more trouble. He has to submit to a random urinalysis. He can't use any illicit drugs. He got to surrender his passport to the pre-assigned court, which would be criminal court number 7. No family violence. He can't threaten or harass the victims, their families, or pets, and he has to stay away from, pretty much stay away from them. Um, You said between Maryland and Texas, very different than Cali. Oh, yes. Yeah, Texas is a whole different breed. Let me tell y'all something. Dallas County is very liberal. Okay. We're blue. When it comes to Denton County, Collin County, Hill County, Johnson County, um, and I'm just talking about all the counties like in the North Texas area, those are the counties that you don't want to play in. But yeah, when it comes to them as far as, how they do things, some counties are totally different. But baby, let me tell you, if he was in Denton County with this, oh man, bro wouldn't stand a chance. All right. Damn, they did that fat. What? They must be working today. They know tomorrow Friday. Because baby, what, they already got this on the docket, hunty. Let's see what this water says. Hold on, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Touch targets. Let me pull it up. Switch. And this was a different judge. Like I said, that had to be an associate judge for today. Connors, Texas is. I have never heard of that place before. All right, y'all can see that. All right, so modification of bond conditions, sheriff's notification pursuant, da da da. So bail set to 750. As I said, it's a cash or surety bond, meaning he either paid the whole 750,000 up front, or he can get a bail's bond and do the percentage. I already read the conditions to you guys. He can't, okay, so witnesses. So he can't threaten or harass any witnesses, and he has to remain in Dallas County. Wait, how is he going to do that? So if he gets released, his house is in Denton County, not unless he goes to the Lancaster address. Yeah. Ooh, felony. All right, so that is okay. So sitting by assignment. All right, so that's why. So Miss Gracie Lewis is the one that did this, but y'all heard her when she said something about him submitting an affidavit to the court, and it was like I have to get my hands on that freaking affidavit. I don't know where it's at though, but I want to see exactly what he said in that affidavit. I'm reading something. Okay, that was just her docket call sheet. Okay. So that's it, y'all. Ain't too much. What questions do y'all have? What questions do y'all have? But if I move out there, I have to come work with you to take paralegal and notary case. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I love the working for myself life. I really do. But child, I need to build me a team because I be doing too much. But yeah, y'all, this is tragic. It really is. I'm torn between the two. I definitely want Melvin to get justice. Like I already said, Kewan White is already in jail. He has been in jail. And y'all, just looking at his profile, he has charges for evading arrest, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, a use of a firearm, attempted assault where the individual was actually hit during that the unaliving of Mo 3. So he's been in trouble. But I was telling my kid, I was like, It's like I know him from somewhere and I cannot remember. I don't know if he went to Dallas Can where I used to teach at. I don't know, but it's bothering me and I have to get to the root of it. But it is just upsetting to see that this is the life that some of these young men have chosen. And you would think that, Beezy and them, instead of being Oak Cliff, shooting these music videos and stuff like this, why not do something for the community? Because I tell you, my first teaching job was in Oak Cliff at Dallas Can Academy. And the environment and the nature, not the environment, what is the word I want to look for? The students that I taught, they were in gangs and in the street. Like, yes, that was my first teaching job. And it's sad. And they were telling me stories of why they were in the streets. They didn't have any role models. They didn't have activities for them to go out and participate in. So when I look at all of these people, and I can only do so much. I am only one person. Because after you go to Dallas Can Academy and you don't graduate or you drop out, there are no other alternatives, because at this point you're too old. So that's literally why I started my GED program, at least to give them the opportunity to get their GED so that way they can go on to college or they can go on and start their careers. But I'm only one person. But I see all of these people, like you have Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, and he built a practice facility in Frisco, and you have the AT&T Stadium in Arlington. He has houses in the Frisco, like he owns subdivisions. But do y'all think that money is going to South Dallas or to Oak Cliff? No. You drive to Oak Cliff right now, and all you will see is them regentifying the whole community. Like they are taking down Oak Cliff piece by piece. And a part of me, I'm like, that's a good thing. But then another part of me is like, okay, what are y'all doing with the children who grew up? What are you doing with the individuals and the adults who grew up there that don't have no way out? If y'all go downtown Dallas right now, I might have to drive down there and show y'all what it actually looks like. The homeless population is ridiculous. You could tell the difference between the good part of Oak Cliff and the bad part of Oak Cliff, the good part of South Dallas and the bad part of South Dallas. So when you have people like Yellow Beezy and Mo 3 and Trap Boy Freddy and other artists that, started in Oak Cliff. And you know what? I can't even say because Melvin was over here. Like, so there's another side of Richardson. So it's like the Richardson border and the North Dallas border. He grew up right there off of Forest Lane. So that ain't even South Dallas. That's North Dallas. And yes, that part is bad, but it ain't. But people just, I guess, go to Oak Cliff because that's the hood, and it's crazy. But yeah, so this is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. My dog barking at me because he's ready to go outside. But I just wanted to tune in and bring you guys the latest on this. Shout out to ABC for going down to the courthouse because I wasn't gonna do it. Y'all definitely leave y'all comments below. I know I already seen comments where people were saying like free Breezy, cash, chill. Anywho's, y'all have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, y'all, I am out. Bye.